So the American presidential election is, of course, of much concern to us people in Japan, and you know, polls show that Mr. Biden is leading. However, Mr. Trump is playing catch up, and some people suggest that actually the supporters for President Trump is larger than would be suggested by the polls because people are not comfortable with the idea of expressing that they support Mr. Trump. Presumably because of Mr. Trump's perceived failure to observe universal values such as human rights and so on. Uh, Gender equality, all these things. And so Mr. Trump is, among some people, seen as, kind of a rogue president who really cannot observe these really important values in today's world. However, so because of that, some people are shy of expressing publicly that they support President Trump, but secretly they do. So, according to this theory, the supporting figures for President Trump is actually larger than would be suggested by the polls. So, on the election day, actually President Trump might come out as stronger than would be estimated from the polls. Now, this is very interesting from Japanese point of view because in Japan we have a saying, Honne and Tatemae. Honne is your inner self, something you think deep down in you, and something that you might be actually shy to express because if you express your deeply held opinions, people might actually be put off by that. So that's Honne. And the Tatemae. Tatemae is public, image that you like to put in front of people. It is something that would be socially acceptable, politically correct, and Tatemae is all that. And in Japanese society, it is said that people make use of these two different positions, Honne and Tatemae. On the one hand, they would say politically correct, socially acceptable things, but deep down they might believe something else, and people would actually say Tatemae things, but socially acceptable things, but would actually behave according to the Honne, secretly held value systems. So when you look at the American presidential election, in this scheme, maybe the American people saying that they are not going to vote for President Trump because he's such a badass, and so that's Tatemae, socially acceptable statements, especially among the liberal people. But in their Honne, deeply held private views, they might actually support President Trump. So I don't know how far this metaphor would go as far as American politics are concerned, but it's certainly interesting to observe people's behavior in this context. And after all, we are all humans, and there are not such a great differences between nationalities, because we pretend sometimes that there are differences, but after all, we are all humans, so American people might actually be behaving in a similar way as the Japanese people. That's my concerned observation of the situation of the American presidential election, which would be, which would have its judgment day in a few weeks.